Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing another Swiss Dragons of Tarkir draft. We opened Sarkin. It's pretty awesome. Haven't gotten a chance to play with him yet, or against him really, so pretty awesome card, definitely. So certainly worthy of a first pick. It's probably like one of the only three-color spells in this entire set. So that's interesting. That's going to make Evolving Wilds slightly higher priority. But what colors do we want to focus on? I mean, I want to play Sarkin, obviously. And I should be able to play Sarkin. I just need to decide which two colors of Sarkin I'm playing. Because I've kind of decided there's not a ton of incentive to play three color in this format. So, I mean, splashing Sarkin seems like already what I'm kind of direct myself towards, but I don't know what two colors yet of his I want to focus on. Ooh, is that another rare that's on color? Possibly. Avatar the Resolute. 2 mana, 3/2, reach trample. Enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each other creature. 2 mana, 3/2, reach trample's not bad. Might just be the pick. Otherwise, actually, Sarkin's Rage is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Sarkin's Rage is good. Let me see if Avatar the Resolute's worth anything. I doubt it is, but it's cheap. It's worth like 50 cents or something. It's not really worth that much. Maybe I want the Sarkin's Rage. Just 2 mana, 3/2 is not bad though. And Reach Trample is kind of a nice ability set, and the fact that it's got even more abilities on top of that. I think I'm gonna take it. It's interesting enough where I wanna see what I think of it. Okay, here's an Evolving Wilds. Could get it now. But there is Twin Bolt. Savage Ventmaw seems pretty good too. Does seem good. You get 6 mana. That doesn't empty from your mana pool until end of turn. It's pretty nice actually. You get to use another 6 mana during your post-combat main phase. It's pretty good. Otherwise, I grab Evolving Wilds now, get the fixing, which also isn't bad. But this dragon's pretty good. I think I'm going to hope to pick up a Evolving Wilds slightly later. And maybe I just focus on the red-green then. Red-green, Formidable, Splashing Sarkin. That might be a direction I can do. But we'll see. I might splash for other blue stuff too. Or maybe I take blue since Ojai Summons is really good. But we've got some nice cheap threats here I can take as well. Like Hardened Berserker turn 3, attack, play a turn 4 Sarkin. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Keep that in mind. Yeah, maybe I just want the Berserker then. I could also take the Aspirant because it's a 2-drop. But I think I actually like Berserker more. The next spell being cheaper thing is pretty unique actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Berserker here. I do like Ojai Summons a lot though. Okay, well, there's a negate. Tread Upon's combat trick. Oh, here we go. I think Epic Confrontation is what we're looking for. It's a great spell. That's really efficiently costed. It's like 2 mana cheaper than Hunt the Weak, and you get an extra toughness, but you just don't get, instead of a +1/+1 counter, you just get +1/+2. This card's really good. This card is really good. Really well costed card for everything you get. All right. Sunbringer's Touch. Bolster X. X the number of cards in your hand. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on against trample until end of turn. It's okay. I mean, it's not bad. Problem is you have to have, a few cards in your hand or else it doesn't do anything. I mean, it could be really good. I'd almost rather pay 5 and get the guarantee Bolster 4. I feel like that's actually better. It's not instant speed either. Yeah, I think I actually almost like the 5 mana instant speed one more. So I think I'd rather just take like a 2-drop, or I could take the Morph here too. I think I'm actually going to take the Megamorph, dude. I actually like this guy quite a bit. I like I mean, I like the idea of playing the morphs in this format. You know, Sheltered Airy seems like something that's going to be really good for us actually because of the Sarkin. So I think we got to take that. We don't have to, but it also gets me to 3 to 5, which I like. All right, Glade Watcher is a great formidable card, so we'll take that pretty easily. I like the direction we're going already. So, yeah, I think we're just going green-red formidable, splash Sarkin. So I didn't pick up a Evolving Wilds like I wanted to. What did I picked the dragon over it, which I'm okay with. We did get a Sheltered Airy, like I said, and Sheltered Airy seems a lot more playable when you've got Sarkin in your deck. And the fact that it just ramps is not bad either. All right, I think we're just going to take a Naturalize for sideboard. I don't really like this Megamorph since it's got Defender. And Carsey Deceiver actually seems okay, but not too appealing on the splash. All right, Artillerist is good. Just straight up good. I like it. 3 mana 4/1. It's like the green Gore-Tusk Swine. I'm fine with that. Servant of the Scale is a good card too. I actually think I like that more than Kindled Fury. Kindled Fury is a nice combat trick, but I just straight up like Servant of the Scale, and it helps that it synergizes with Avatar of the Resolute as well. So, take it. All right, Pinion Feast. Certainly a fine sideboard card, so we'll take it. Tormenting Voice, totally playable. I'll take it. It's like, you know, Red's card draw spell. You know, not as good as like Divination or something, but I guess it's one cheaper than Divination too. I think we'll take the Ancient Carp. There might be another blue card we possibly want to splash for, but I like our game plan right now of being just a green-red splash blue for Sarkin deck. Well, I splashed Profaner of the Dead before, and maybe I do it again. Otherwise, there's Conifer Strider, which is good for Formidable, but currently we only have like what, one Formidable guy. And there's what else is here that I'm interested in? Colossadon Yearling, fine. Dragon Fodder, something cheap to do. You know what? It feels like a Profaner pick to me. How many? I guess we don't have a ton of high toughness dudes though right now. But whatever. I mean, we can get some. It's way early enough where I'm gonna probably find some high toughness guys. Erishan Foremost. Well, let's see if it's worth anything. It's not worth nothing, surprisingly. I actually thought it's a pretty good card. Sarkin's Triumph, I guess, can find me a Savage Ventmaw, but that doesn't seem worth it. All right, so we've got Servant of the Scale, which is pretty reasonable. We also have Stampeding Elkherd and Sandstep Scavenger. I think we probably just want the Elkherd. Granted, it's a 5-drop, but it's a pretty good beater. And definitely is going to work good with Profaner of the Dead. Doesn't synergize that well, I guess, with the Avatar of the Resolute, unlike Scavenger and Servant of the Scale, but I think Stampeding Elkherd is probably just what we want. It does synergize well with Profaner of the Dead. Okay, interesting. Lose Calm, Sandstep. I think we're probably either taking... We can take the Beastbreaker, the Elkherd #2, or the Scavenger. I think Elkherd's likely better than Scavenger, even though, unless we were more of a +1/+1 counter deck, which, I mean, I guess we kind of are, but I'm okay with Stampeding Elkherd #2 here. I think that's fine. We already have a little bit of a ramp element. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Elkherd. I like Beastbreaker too, but Elkherd's a pretty nice, pretty well-costed beater. All right, Mirror Mockery's cool. If I had a bunch of Enter the Battlefield effects, I could see playing it, but I really don't. Profaner of the Dead is, I guess, an interesting one, but I'm not really digging it. Dragonlord's Servants to make Savage Vintmaw cheaper. Conifer Strider. Like I said, we still don't have that much formidable. Like, Elkerd, granted, it does have formidable, but it doesn't matter. It's still a 5/5 beater, regardless of whether it's got formidable or not. I'm kind of tempted to just take the segmented Crotique number 2, mostly because it's just a big beater. It's a well-costed beater hard cast. All right, I think I'm just going to take it. Okay, Tarka Monument might be the pick, actually. Granted, it doesn't fix for Sarkhan, but I like that it ramps. It gets us to 7 for our Megamorphs a little bit better. It gets us from 3 to 5 quicker, so we can slam turn 4 Stampeding Elkherds. Yeah, I think we're probably just taking the on-color Monument. I actually really like these Monuments. I've played them a couple times now, and turns out late game 4/4 flyers are pretty good. Sign of Ugin is also a good card, and Colossadon Yearling would be fine and playable, but yeah, let's take the Monument. So now, wow, got some good, more good cards to look at here. Scaleguard Sentinels, 2 mana, 2/3. If I reveal a dragon, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Currently only have 1 dragon card, but could see more. Otherwise, Airy Bowmasters give you a little potential surprise blocker. It's also Tread Upon, combat trick. Scream Reach Brawler is fine, but we're not really a dash deck so much. Yeah, I think I might just take the Scaleguard Sentinels because it's a 2 mana, 2/3. So it's fairly well costed. And we're basically at this point splashing red, splashing blue. So focus on the green. I'm okay with that, actually. I'm going to take the Sentinels. All right, Guardian Shieldbearer is actually just a good card. There is Void Squall, which, considering we're low on removal, seems like a reasonable card. But I think I'd rather have the Shieldbearer. Got some limited fixing at the moment. It does appear we're likely not going to pick up a Evolving Wilds. Servant of the Scale number 2. Or Dramoka's Gift. Dramoka's Gift is a combat trick. But what? Do I want to play it, or do I want the Servant of the Scale? I'm not sure, actually. I'm kind of feeling the Servant, to be honest. I actually like this card quite a bit. I think I'm going to take the Servant. Conifer Strider seems fine here. Yeah. Otherwise, Gurmag Drowner, but I think we're good on the blue splash front. Just get a formidable enabler. All right. So we get a 3rd Servant, or we could take the Sandstep Scavenger. Granted, that's a lot of Servant to the Scales, but it's cool that they even work well together. They do work well together. It's like they transfer their counters over. I mean, granted, they're like 1 mana 1/1s, but I'm going to take it. I don't know how I feel. I want to see what I think of playing them in multiples. I need to give it a try. All right, we can take Lose Calm, or we could take the Custodian, but Custodian buys time, but I don't really like it too much, I think. We'll take the Lose Calm. This seems very, very much like a 17 land deck because of the Sheltered Area and the Monument that we've got. All right, Magmatic Chasm might be something I want to do. Stormrider Rig is fine. Not terribly exciting. I think we're going to have a Chasm for sideboard. All right. Okay. And sure. So I like where we're at. We didn't get an Evolving Wilds, which kind of sucks, but we might be able to pick up some lands out of here, out of Fate Reforged that help us out. Otherwise, like I said, we've got the Sheltered Area, which I'm currently definitely playing. We actually just, ooh, geez, Dramoka. Card's so good. One sec. I don't think it's worth anything. I can't imagine it is, but I'll check anyway. It's worth a whole 2 cents. Yeah, this card's pretty insane. I could just take it and splash it off Airy too, but at that point I'm doing like 4 color. Otherwise, I mean, I can take Bathe in Dragonfire, which is absolutely very good. Like, straight up, it's just good. Dromoka is clearly better, but well, I mean, it's pretty insane with Sarkhan, I gotta admit. Making 4/4 dragons that attack and bolster, it's pretty good. Do I want to take Dromoka and splash it? That the ultimate question, the $1 million question. Splash Dromoka. I think I will. It's probably greedy. Likely greedy. I'm going to do it anyway. Here's a Whisper of the Wilds, but I don't think we can't afford to pass up Pyrotechnics. Let's just face it. There's all sorts of cards in here I want. I want the Swiftwater Cliffs. I want the Whisper. I want the Beastmaster. I want it all. But instead, we're going to take the Amazing Removal spell. All right, so we have to make a cut already. I think we can probably afford to ditch one of our Servant to the Scales. 3 of them is probably overkill. And like I said, it might seem like we have a lot of 5-drops, but when you've got double 3 mana ramp that takes you to 5, I think we're fine taking another one. All right, Windscarred Crag. There's our Dromoka splash. Otherwise, I can take Goblin Heel Cutter, which is a great card. I'm thinking I probably want some fixing. We already have a deck here. This is a 23-card deck, so let's take the Windscarred Crag. That opens us up for a Dromoka splash. Easier. So let's just prioritize lands out of this pack fairly highly. Like Rugged Highlands, we can take 2. Hunt the Weak is pretty excellent removal, and the +1/+1 counter synergy is pretty nice. Yeah, you know what? Hunt the Weak is legitimately good in this deck. I may take that over the Rugged Highlands. The Rugged Highlands does still help our mana base. You have to keep that in mind. Important thing to note. Yeah, it still helps our mana base because we can afford to run, like an island or something. But I probably still want Hunt the Weak. Lose Calm's actually not that good in our deck. I'd want to upgrade that anyway. And like I said, Hunt the Weak has some pretty good synergies with our +1/+1 counter themed cards. It's just removal. We have some 2/3s. I'm going to take it. I like the Rugged Highland pick there too. But I think Hunt the Weak's legitimately good. Crucible of the Spirit Giant. Now this is actually interesting because Dromoka, but so I can always add a colorless, or I can put a storage counter on it and remove storage counters to add, well, I only have 2 dragons. It doesn't quite feel right, but I guess we take Hunt the Weak number 2, and I likely cut a, yeah, actually Hunt the Weak's insane with Glade Watcher too. What am I cutting for that? That's a good question. I'm not sure yet. We're just going to take it and figure out the cut for it later, I guess. All right, Shockmaw Dragon's going to be good. Here's a Map the Waste. A third way. Map the Waste might actually just be the pick. I mean, granted, we already have 2 fixers, but the reason to play Map is we're currently 4 color. +1/+1 counters are good. Shockmaw Dragon might be good too. Double red could be an issue. I kind of like minimizing our color intensity. But Shockmaw Dragon's pretty legitimate. And Sheltered Area just straight up fixes for it. I think I'm going to take the Dragon just because we already have 2 ramp spells. But Map the Waste would have been a fine pick there, to be honest. All right, Rugged Highlands, we'll take it. It helps our mana base, whether people want to admit it or not. All right, Hungering Yeti, certainly a fine card. I still think we're doing just fine on the the playable front. I mean, we already have to make cuts. Could take the Mastodon, just fine. Probably just take the Yeti anyway. Maybe play it over a Stampeding Elk Herd. I'm not sure. I like it more than the Crew Shock because of the surprise factor. Mastodon is fine too, but geez, it's like the same picks. Guess we can take a Mastodon now, whatever. I don't think we're playing it. Don't really need any of this. Maybe just take the removal. Formless Nurturing is a card. Synergizes reasonably well with stuff. Could take the collateral damage for the old Lose Calm synergy, but I don't think that's what this deck's trying to do. I don't really need any of this, to be honest. I think we'll just take the... Maybe we'll take the collateral damage just to hate against aggro decks. I don't know. Temur Battle Rage probably could be played in here pretty easily, but I'm not even sure if I am going to. But we'll take it anyway because it's a strong card. Take the Efreet, something cheap. Will of the Naga is pretty strong. All right, so good news and bad news about this deck. The good news is we've got ourselves a pretty solid looking deck. We have Sarkhan, we have Dromoka, we have quad dragon producing cards, which is pretty insane. We have Ramp, and we have good early game, and we have at least one fixer. Bad news about this deck, we didn't get any blue fixing, we didn't get Evolving Wilds. Both of those would have been pretty welcome additions. We're absolutely playing Sheltered Aerie. Double Hunt the Week, I'm still happy with. Pyrotechnics, I'm clearly happy with that. Segmented Crotiques can be more like, 3 drops. I kind of want to play all of our late game, and I want to run 17 lands. So, cutting spells or cutting playables. I guess I don't need the Servant of the Scales. They do synergize with Avatar of the Resolute, but Avatar of the Resolute is perfectly fine on its own. A 2-mana 3/2 is perfectly acceptable. We actually have enough dragons to make Scale Guard Sentinels good, which is funny. Shield Bearers, another morph card. Glade Watcher is going to be insanely good with our fight cards. So really just cut 2 spells. Maybe we just cut the Servants. I kind of want to keep the Tormenting Voice. It's just a good way to ditch additional lands or find lands. Maybe I don't need the Conifer Strider. It fits our curve well, but it doesn't work well with our fight cards because of the low toughness. I could see that. I mean, we kind of don't have much in the 4-drop slot, but we already have enough finishers, and we don't really have enough Formidable where I care about it. I mean, like I said, these guys have Formidable, but you don't need Formidable to make the Stampeding Elk Herds good. Pretty tempted to just cut one of our Servants and just run one of them, which is fine. It's perfectly acceptable card, but I probably just don't need it in multiples. I still like Hardened Berserker in here. It's actually another way to get to our 5 drops on turn 4, which is nice. So we have 3 ways to do that, which is actually kind of good. Yeah, I think I'm just going to run it like this. This deck looks very good. I really like this deck. So our mana base is going to be the sort of questionable where we can sort of talk about design, I guess. So between Dromoka, between Windscarred Crag and Sheltered Aerie, I'm not even sure I need to run a white source. Two ways to fix for one spell is typically enough, I would think. The blue, we have 2 blue spells. So between Sheltered Aerie and I guess we probably want to run maybe 2 islands. Well, that might be overdoing it, but we'll see. So this would be, I want more than 5 sources of red. That's not going to work. let's go up to, this would be 9 green, 7 red, 1 white, but 2 with sheltered area, and 2 blue, 3 with sheltered area. So 3 blue, 2 white, 7 red, 9 green. I guess 10. If I'm counting sheltered area for these, I should probably count it for these too. So it's more like 8 red with sheltered area. But I actually need green to cast it, so that throws the equation out a little bit. But I think this is actually fine. I mean, like I said, Monument also fixes for red, so 7 red seems pretty acceptable. It's probably actually more than I need. The only cheap red spell I have is Hardened Berserker. Maybe I go 6 red and actually do get 1 white. So there's like 2 ways beyond the sheltered area to get to Dromoka. Maybe. Now, you know what? I think I actually want more green because I have 2 double green 2-drops. I really do need green early, and I need it for like sheltered area. So this would be 6 red, 10 green, 1 white, 2 blue. I think this is what I'm going to have to be okay with. And I'm okay with it. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's not bad. It's okay. So overall, I mean, I like the deck. I do think it's cool. I'm glad I have like 3 3-drops that get us to our 5-drops a little bit easier. We've got more than enough finishing power in this deck. We have a lot of finishing power in this deck. We have good early plays. What are the weaknesses of this deck? We don't have a ton of spot removal. The removal we have is fighting, which is fine in some matchups, perhaps worse in others. We do have a Pyrotechnics, though, which is insane. We have a Profaner of the Dead, which I think is going to be good. This looks like actually a pretty solid little brew. 4-color in this format is certainly something I haven't done before, but Dromoka just seems so worth it on the splash. This card is so insane. So well costed. So I guess there's not, to be honest, there's not a ton of games where I see I'm going to be casting Dromoka early, just because I only have 2 ways to get the white mana. The Crag and the sheltered area, but I think that's okay. I think we're going to be fine with this. So overall, I don't know how highly to rate this deck, but I'd probably rate it at about, I think our mana base could have been better, so I got to dock some points there. But just sheer power level, our finishing power, I probably want to rate this pretty high, like 7.5 out of 10. I think, and our removal's adequate. I think I'm docking 2.5 points just because we're 4-color, and I'm sort of, shoehorning a Dromoka in and a Sarkhan without enough support on the mana base to really, support it well. But I think everything else is very good. So 7.5 out of 10 rating is my rating for this deck, and we'll see you round 1.